Hello there, welcome to Granada Reports.
Good evening, here's what's coming up on the programme.
The officer videoed kicking a man in the head at Manchester Airport is under criminal investigation. Now there are demands for all the officers involved to be suspended.
There should be more suspension. All of the officers involved should definitely be suspended, and criminal investigations should be launched on all of them.
16 years old and stabbed through the heart. Tonight, 4 teenagers start jail sentences over the murder of Kenny Carter, but no comfort for his parents.
Let the games begin. Which Northwest talents can write their names into history at the Olympics in Paris?
And it's not fantastic weather in Paris this evening for the opening ceremony, but after that, things really start to hot up, as you can see, maybe even too hot for some of those athletes. But never fear, if anyone drops out, Riley Blue is on standby. Full details for our forecast coming up shortly.
So first tonight, a police officer who kicked a man in the head in an incident at Manchester Airport is now under criminal investigation by the police watchdog.
The Independent Office for Police Conduct says the officer is being investigated for assault and also for potential gross misconduct for a number of alleged breaches of police professional standards, including his use of force.
Well, the family at the centre of the incident is from Rochdale. At their local mosque in the town, worshippers and well-wishers at Friday prayers this lunchtime called for calm. But there were also demands for all the police officers involved to be suspended, and also questions about why the Chief Constable of Greater Manchester has so far not said anything about the controversy.
Our correspondent Emma Sweeney has tonight's top story.
It's a story that has grown much bigger than the family at its centre. And last night, as commuters attempted to make their way home, they were stopped in their tracks by protesters who'd ground Manchester city centre to a halt.
Like many people across the country, in fact, I think most people across the country, we were horrified at that video that showed that level of police brutality against a Muslim family coming into the Manchester Airport.
And it was this video that prompted that unrest. An armed officer kicks and stamps on a man's head as he lay face down on the floor during an arrest. An investigation by the Independent Office for Police Conduct's now been triggered, and the officer at the centre of it all is under criminal investigation for assault. He's been suspended from all duties. Today, the family's solicitor had this to say.
There should be more suspension. All of the officers involved should definitely be suspended, and criminal investigations should be launched on all of them.
Trade unionist Mohammed Shafiq said the video had further damaged relations between the Muslim community and police.
We have a chief constable who has never engaged our community in the years since he's been appointed. He thinks institutional racism is a myth. How can we work with somebody like that? And I think there's some real questions around his leadership and his absence. We told Andy Burnham today, where is he? You know, this is one of the most major stories hitting the international media, affecting our town and our county. He's nowhere to be seen.
As worshippers attended Rochdale's Bilal Masjid Mosque, crowds gathered around the town's former MP, who said he'd been left horrified by the footage.
I couldn't believe I was watching scenes from Manchester Airport. It's the kind of thing that we've become used to in other countries, and we must never become used to it in our country.
Rochdale's newly elected MP was also vocal today, stressing that the family affected are calling for calm.
Their priority is looking after the family's health and welfare in the short term, but also obviously seeking justice. And they want justice not just to be done, but seen to be done in an open and transparent way. That's why the Independent Office for Police Conduct are so crucial, that they've engaged with them so early on. And the family also made quite clear that they're not engaged in any kind of political agenda. They're not supporting any protests, they're not engaging in protests, and they're not going to attend the protests.
As the weekend draws near, leaders will be hoping that we will not see a repeat of last night's scenes. for fear that relations on all sides are left further derailed. Emma Sweeney, ITV News.
Well, our correspondent Rob Smith is at Greater Manchester Police Headquarters now. Rob, what happens next in this investigation by the police watchdog, the IOPCC?
Crucial interviews are what happens next. The watchdogs say that they want to talk to the police officer, a constable, under caution as soon as possible, and arrangements are being made for that to happen. On the other side of this, they say they've spoken to one of the men involved in the incident and to his family. They're keeping the family updated on their investigation, and through the IOPC, the family have again stressed their desire for peace, that they don't want any violence, don't condone any violence off the back of this. Beyond that, the watchdogs say they want to talk to another man involved in a second incident. Now, it's worth noting that the officer hasn't just been told about a criminal investigation, he's been served with a disciplinary notice as well. That is for potential gross misconduct over alleged breaches of professional standards, including the use of force. Now, none of that means that there will necessarily be any disciplinary action or any criminal charges in this matter. The IOPC say at the end of their investigation, they'll decide if there'll be any disciplinary procedure, if any at all, and they'll refer their findings to the Crown Prosecution Service, who'll decide whether to make a charge or not.
OK, Rob, well, the Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, spoke to the media this afternoon. So what did he say?
He says that he wants what he sees as effectively uninformed and unhelpful commentary on social media and beyond to stop now that there is a criminal investigation. He believes, in his words, there have been people with political agendas exploiting this for their own ends.
What we need now is the real experts to come in, look at all of the material, there's a lot of it, and then come to their judgments, with everybody able to, to put into that process what they believe to be their perspective on things. So I just can't make it clearer than that. The interest now is not conducting this via social media, but allowing this investigation to do its work.
One final thing to say tonight, you'll have heard Mohammed Shafiq, the trade unionist and anti-racism campaigner, in Emma's report asking where the chief constable of this force, Stephen Watson, where is he? Andy Burnham telling us today that the chief has been involved in this inquiry from the outset, involved in the detail, and is letting the IOPC do what they need to do.
Rob Smith at GMP headquarters, thanks for that.
Well, next tonight, to the grief of two parents who say their family will never recover after their son was stabbed to death.
Kenny Carter was just 16 when he was confronted by 4 other teenagers on a street in Stretford in Greater Manchester in January 2022. Kenny was stabbed through the heart.
Well, tonight, those 4 teenagers are starting jail sentences. One, known in court as Boy A, was sentenced to a minimum of 16 years for murder. The others were jailed for manslaughter for their involvement in the attack.
The judge had a sobering message as he jailed them.
Young males carrying knives in public, in readiness to threaten and to kill others, is becoming all too common in our cities, both here in Manchester and elsewhere in the country. The tragedy is that not only does it destroy the lives of the victims and their families, but also those who commit the offence, those who carry knives in the first place.
Well, Kenny's mum and dad say the jailing of those involved doesn't make up for the loss of their son and their family team being broken up. Tim Scott has more.
Kenny was a no-drama kid. He just loved being in his room, on his game. He was a big gamer. Yeah, top of the league at his games.
He could have done anything.
I would have liked him to see him
Have children. He grow up to be a normal man.
And that one day that he goes out of the house for 10 minutes and he's gone. He's gone.
Kenny Carter's parents still trying to come to terms with his murder 2 years ago. Despite those responsible being brought to justice, there's been little comfort for the family Kenny left behind.
It didn't just impact us, it impacted the children as well, to the point where they've had to change schools, move house, and it's just awful. I feel like our team's been broken up. We've been the team, building this team for years and years and years, 2 boys, 2 girls. And, they're all very, very close. But the girls are like each other's sidekicks and the boys are like each other's sidekick. And there's just that missing part gone.
On January the 22nd, 2022, Kenny Carter was here, out on the streets of Stretford, near his family home. He was approached by a group of young people intent on revenge for an incident that had happened the night before. Boy A produced a knife and stabbed Kenny through the chest. Kenny was left bleeding in the street. At trial, Boy A tried to claim he'd acted in self-defence, but the jury rejected his account and he was found guilty of Kenny's murder.
I'm happy that we've took some dangerous people off the street. But that's nothing compared to my son's life. I don't even think there's been a word invented for them sort of people yet. For the pain that they're causing people's families, you know. It's not just the mums and dads, it's the brothers, the sisters, the nanas, the granddads, nieces, nephews, friends, everything. You're wrecking families, you're breaking hearts, and we're left with 3 children instead of 4 now.
Tim Scott, ITV News, Manchester.
This evening's other news, and a man has been arrested after a 75-year-old man was shot dead in a field in Lancashire. Police were called to reports of a gunshot on Pinfold Lane in Scaresbrick in West Lancashire just before 5 o'clock yesterday. A 29-year-old man from Scaresbrick was arrested on suspicion of murder and remains in custody.
A man's been charged with the murder of Ricky Berry on Merseyside. He was shot outside a house on Quarryside Drive in Kirby last week. Merseyside police says Adam Williams, who's 25 and from Kirby, is accused of murder. A man and woman in their 20s have been bailed pending further inquiries.
The families of 2 Ryanair pilots who died in a fatal collision on the M62 motorway have paid tribute to them and say money raised in their memory will help fund a scholarship to train new pilots. Matt Greenhalgh and Jamie Fernandez were travelling to Liverpool Airport on the 11th of July when they were involved in a collision. A 61-year-old lorry driver was arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving and has since been bailed. Matt's family said he'd got married just 3 months before his death and had a passion for life. Jamie's family said he was living his best life and they're grateful he achieved his childhood dream of flying.
Thousands are expected in Liverpool this weekend for the city's Pride celebrations. Merseyside police say they'll work closely with the LGBTQ+ community to make sure everyone enjoys the event safely. The force says it's also liaising with pubs and clubs and transport bosses.
Yeah, let's hope everyone has fun. Here's Lucrezia now with details of the ITV News a little later.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, Olympic sabotage. The opening day of the Paris Games overshadowed by coordinated arson attacks on France's rail network. We'll hear why drivers are being ripped off at the pumps and supermarkets are being blamed. Plus,
I said I love you. If you can't even understand that.
the powerful Corrie episode in memory of rugby league legend Rob Burrow. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Now we're looking for your help to find a fantastic fundraiser to represent ITV Granada reports at the Pride of Britain Awards.
It's one of the biggest events in the showbiz calendar, but it's the amazing public, not the celebrities who are the stars of the show. And now we need your help to find this year's ITV Granada Reports winner.
So if you'd like to nominate someone to be our regional fundraiser of the year, you can head to our website. That's itv.com/Pride of Britain.
You can only nominate individuals and they must be aged 18 years old or over. If you're under the age of 18, please get permission from a parent or guardian before you nominate.
The closing date for nomination is Sunday the 11th of August and full terms and conditions and our privacy notice can be found on our website.
Good luck. Time for sport now, and the greatest show on earth is about to begin with plenty of Northwest interest. Here's David.
Yes, it's time to say bonjour to the Paris Olympics with tonight's opening ceremony, the official start to the 2024 Games. Get ready for a fortnight of sporting action like no other. And among those going for gold for Team GB will be 30 hopefuls from the Northwest in events like athletics, swimming and boxing. Our correspondent Chris Conway is the lucky man to be in the French capital for us.
Well, it's been a grey and damp start here in Paris, but it certainly hasn't dampened the spirits for these Olympic Games. There's a real buzz of excitement in the air. There are banners all over the streets here in the French capital. Organisers have promised that the Games will be truly unforgettable. It's one of the world's biggest sporting events in one of the world's greatest cities. It's the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. BMX freestyler Charlotte Worthington from Manchester is competing for Team GB.
My main goal at Paris is to honestly enjoy myself. When I'm enjoying myself, I do my best riding, and when I do my best riding, I'm pretty likely to get a good result. So I want to go out there, enjoy myself, do my best. I'm not setting like an outcome goal. I think if I do that, then the results will come.
With 10,500 athletes competing in 329 events over the next 2 weeks, organisers say the Games will be protected by an unprecedented security operation. Those competing will be roared on by passionate crowds, with more than 15 million spectators expected in the French capital.
Come on, GB!
Some have arrived already ahead of tonight's opening ceremony.
To see Paris during Olympic Games is very exciting for us.
The way they've done it, the cities, is they've put a lot of time and effort in, so it's really impressive.
You can get around easily and very easy on the transport, so it's great.
We've been to the football yesterday. Who did we see play?
Spain versus Uzbekistan.
The Jeux Olympic in here is very, very good. I'm from New York City, so I'm used to like big crowds and like big buildings and everything, but it's totally different here. It's just amazing here.
The beauty of Paris cannot be understated, and it's a beauty Games organisers are keen to tap into, staging some of the Olympics' biggest events at some of the city's most famous landmarks. 25 venues in and around Paris are hosting events, including a purpose-built stadium at the Eiffel Tower, which is home to beach volleyball. Triathlon and cycling takes place at the Alexander III Bridge, while the Grand Palais welcomes martial arts and fencing. On the outskirts of the city, boxing and tennis takes place at Roland Garros. The Stade de France is the main stadium for athletics. The nearby Aquatic Centre will host swimming and diving. One athlete clambering back onto the diving board for Team GB is Tom Daly. In Paris, he'll become the first British diver to compete at a 5th Olympics. Despite being a Games veteran, he still hopes to make a splash by adding to his Olympic medal collection.
I spend a lot more time on the physio bed. I find it a lot harder to get up in the morning without my body hurting. I think a lot of the older athletes will be able to feel me on that one. To have my family there, to be able to have my friends there, for them to be able to see me compete is going to be very special.
Tonight, Tom, along with rower Helen Glover, will have the honour of being flag bearers for Great Britain at the opening ceremony. What follows is 16 days of gruelling competition as each athlete vies for the ultimate prize, an Olympic gold medal.
Yeah, Chris, Olympics excitement really is building, isn't it? And the Northwest, we always have plenty of medal potentials. We've been hearing from some of them all this week. Who are the ones, though, that you've picked out that we should be looking out for in Paris?
Well, David, of course, the Northwest has such strong Olympic pedigree. 7 gold, 6 silver and 6 bronze medals at the last Olympics. Among those with success in their sights is Keely Hodgkinson. After silver in the 800 metres in Tokyo, Atherton's athletics superstar wants to upgrade to a gold. Others to watch out for are Liverpool's heptathlon world champion Katarina Johnson-Thompson, and Crew's Bryony Page will complete her Olympics medal collection if she can add trampoline gold to the silver and bronze she won at the last 2 games.
best of luck to all of them. The opening ceremony takes place tonight here in Paris, and for the first time in Olympic history, it will be held outside a stadium, with athletes instead floated down the River Seine on a flotilla of boats. Thousands expected to line the riverbanks in support. Today, a major headache for the French authorities, though. A series of attacks on high-speed railway lines right across the country has left train services delayed and cancelled. Organisers hope the disruption doesn't spoil an Olympics that's expected to be full of sporting drama and medal success, and hopefully plenty for our region.
Yeah, let's hope so. Chris Conway reporting there from Paris. Well, away from the Olympics, this weekend Manchester will be the home to the biggest UFC show ever to be held in the UK. A sellout crowd of 23,000 mixed martial arts fans will be at the Co-op Live Arena for the event that's packed with local talent, including Liverpool's Paddy Pimblett and Molly McCann, while Atherton's Tom Aspinall is the joint main event as he defends his interim heavyweight belt against the American Curtis Blades. It's a huge night for Tom, who'll be following in the footsteps of his hero, Manchester's original UFC champion, Michael Bisping.
I mean, it's no secret, Bisping is the godfather of UK MMA. He inspired us guys. I'm inspired by everybody in the UK, but Bisping was the guy. I was here, well, I wasn't here, I was at the arena watching him when I was 14 years old, and it's an honour to be fighting in front of you people on Saturday night.
You can't be going into a fight too nice with each other. You've got to have a little bit of bad blood, a little bit of animosity, but no, this isn't personal, know what I mean? Like, after the fight, I think we're going to shake hands and we'll probably chill and have a little bevy in the hotel after it.
Nice. Now to Rugby League, and the top two go head-to-head in Super League tonight as Wigan host Warrington. Ahead of the game, there'll be a minute's applause in tribute to the much-loved commentator Bill Arthur, who died this week. Well, Lee and St Helens fans are also being asked to stand and applaud in the 4th minute of their match to remember Bill's 4 decades of service to the sport. Now, as our Olympians look ahead to going for gold, how about a bit of inspiration from the past from Blackpool swimmer Lucy Morton? 100 years ago, at the last Olympics to be held in Paris, Lucy won the 200-metre breaststroke to become the first female ever to win an individual gold for Great Britain in the pool. And this is her medal, which was bought at auction by Blackpool Council for £12,000. Yeah, incredible story, incredible piece of sporting history. Here's a fun fact for you guys. You know that all the medals at this year's Olympics will actually have a bit of recycled metal from the Eiffel Tower in them.
Oh, I love it.
Let's hope they bring some back here into the studio and we can show them off.
Exactly. We build the Eiffel Tower with our medals. There we go.
Big summer of sport continues. Thank you, David. Looking forward to watching the Olympics. Right, now to the football fans who've been celebrating one of their sporting heroes. It comes after staff at the Montrose Hall Care Home in Wigan realised they had a former star player on their books.
Yes, Walter Stanley was a winger for Wigan Athletic back in the 1960s. Now aged 84, he was the centre of attention again today, as our correspondent Tasha Kachiri reports.
I love you as I love you.
Walter Stanley is known for his singing nowadays, but back in the day it was all about the beautiful game of football. The 84-year-old played for Wigan Athletic from 1964 to 68. Do you think you were a decent footballer?
I was a good one. Yes, I was, yes. I mean, I was fast running.
Today, the club, along with his family and friends, have come to celebrate his life and accomplishments at his care home in Wigan.
I was about between 13 and 15 when Walter Stanley played for Wigan Athletic. We had a really good side when he was there, and he provided the crosses, and we won a lot of trophies when he was here.
During his time at Wigan, Walter played left wing in the number 11 shirt. He appeared in 126 games and scored 24 goals. When he wasn't singing, that is.
About singing, like dressing room.
Singing, I could sing, but
you could be told off too,
yes.
Many a time.
Yeah.
Shut up, Wall.
I used to be singing like out.
Graham Hickson played with him at the club.
When you see him today running with the ball, he was doing that 60, 70 years ago. He was doing that. And crossing it, for somebody like me, an Harry Lyon, football ball back at net. You pay big money to have his sort of player playing with you rather than against you. You know what I mean? He could shift a bit, well.
Along with family and friends, former players also came out to support.
He's one of our own, isn't he? You know, he's as we say in Wigan, he's a tick. And once you tick, you're always a tick. So I just felt as though I needed to be part of it because, you know, one day that might be me and I might want somebody to come in and visit me. So I had no qualms about coming, and it's been a great day with him.
While his footy days may be behind him, his singing certainly is not. A brilliant day to celebrate a footballing legend. You can sing us out now, Walt. Tasha Kachiri, ITV News, Wigan.
When you were sweet 16.
Oh, he's in fine voice.
What a beautiful voice. And as they say, once a tick, always a tick. Walter Stanley, what a brilliant name for a footballer as well.
Great idea, and it looks like they all had a great day as well. Right, let's see if the weather's finally going to be in tune with the summer. Here's Emma.
Have you burnt tea again?
I'm scraping the cooled oil into the bin, not the sink.
Can we eat outside? It's nice.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello there, and a very good Friday evening to you. And finally, summer has got its hat on. Yes, once we get past the showers tomorrow, it looks like it's going to be sunny, dry and warm. Not just a one-day only offer, but probably for about 4 or 5 days. So I know sunshine isn't for everyone, but I think most will be welcoming that slice of summer. Good to see a bit of summer in the forecast. More than one day's worth of decent weather. It's not so great in Paris this evening for the opening ceremony at the Olympics. They've got the weather we had yesterday, so rather damp. Damp in the forecast, but not damp in the mood. I'm sure it'll take quite a lot to dampen the spirits, but over the next few days after that, things dry up and it gets very, very hot indeed, possibly even too hot for those athletes. So you see, we've got this system moving through tomorrow, bringing the showers, but then a sprawling high digs in and probably will stay in place really for the first part of next week, and we'll keep you posted after that, but quite a well-established high. So for the next few hours, well, a fine evening developing, any showers dying away, but then towards the morning, some more showers kicking off across the Isle of Man, moving into parts of Cumbria and Lancashire, more comfortable for sleeping tonight as well. And then the sun's up tomorrow about 5:20 in the morning, sets about 9:15 in the evening. And these showers are really going to ramp up into Saturday morning. They could be quite heavy. There might be a rumble of thunder overnight as they start to develop as well. But tomorrow it could be a little bit tricky. If you're heading northwards, maybe up the M6 towards the Lake District, it could be a little bit wet and a bit pokey with those showers first thing in the morning. But as you can see, towards the evening time, again, they start to fade away. Temperatures similar to today's values, 20 to 68. And after that, it really starts to warm up. So the pollen will be high as well as the UV. That's it. Bye-bye.
It's a little bit burnt.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Emma, thanks very much indeed. Good to see some better weather on the horizon finally.
I want a Union Jack dress. I'm jealous.
I've got a Union Jack tie somewhere. I'll have to bring it in.
Yeah, patriotic.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.